Now this has just happened in Zimbabwe. That guy there is holding a gun, and this is not a small gun. We see the other one there in the front of a safeguard car. This would be in Bulawayo at an EcoBank bank. They go to the bank, to the back of the money truck there. Now they're taking out the bag. Now this bag is not in bags. It's actually still trunk looking like items there. That one is heavy. It's one, they put it in the truck, in the back of the truck there. Remember, this is real life Zimbabwe. This is the year 2024. And these guys will be stealing point blank US $4 million in broad daylight. Another one, they take another one there. Back again, they're going back again to the safeguard truck there. $4 million United States dollars. What happened here? Was this safeguard truck taking the money to the bank or from the bank? US $4 million. Who would have banked US $4 million? Is it a business entity? And what business would they be in to be having $4 million? In fact, the entire bank, the entire day, how much do these banks normally trade as in gross? Now this is the fourth box there, or fourth safe into their truck there. Now we would be seeing news on this happening here. This has gone viral. We see their car being shown on the social media, and the number plates are not hidden. They're there in plain sight. So who are these guys? Road everywhere on social media, in the mainstream media. Enough respect to everybody who's watching us live right about now. Bear with me there, my network had just dropped a little bit. Enough respect to Dario Mangenje, Dumisani Ngungu watching us live right about now. To those watching us live, you can write a comment in the top chat or in the super chat as I can get to see your name, so I can give you my shout outs. Anyways, let's continue. So we'll see various reports on this and updates on this as it unrolled everywhere on social media, in the mainstream media, everywhere. What are the facts that we do have here? US $4 million snatched in Bulawayo EcoBank armed robbery, as the police confirm, as the Zimbabwe official police do confirm that yes, there's been a robbery in Bulawayo city there. And then we see this image again. This one is even a little bit more clearer, as the resolution is a little bit more bigger. Now into the details. In a shocking daylight robbery, 6 armed men made off with nearly US $4 million after raiding cash in transit vehicle that was carrying boxes of money from an EcoCash branch in Bulawayo yesterday afternoon. The incident would occur at the corner of 5th Street and 9th Avenue in the city center shortly after 3 p.m. The usually bustling street was thrown into chaos when the Ford Ranger would pull up near the bank branch. Then we see dramatic and brazen display of criminality, movie-style action occurring at the heart of Bulawayo business district. It is now District 9 in distress. We see people going about their normal business now shaken and business on high alert. 6 people then jump out of the car armed with pistols and a rifle. As they jump into action, now there are 2 safeguard vehicles that are parked outside the EcoBank branch, and security guards are busy loading boxes into the car. Let's get it. Then the security guards and some passerby by instinct would lay down on the ground following hearing gunshots. Almost casually, some of the armed robbers started loading loot in the truck. Motorists and pedestrians will be watching in shock as the drama is unfolding. Later on in the day, we see ZBC Police Commissioner Paul Nyati confirming the robbery, saying that 6 robbers were seen and were seen at the scene. The police are conducting a thorough investigation to gather detailed information about this incident. Based on the available evidence, nearly $4 million has been stolen in the robbery, indicating a possible inside job. So we see here some of the details here suggesting that this is an inside job. I don't know why they be suggesting it's an inside job when they are seeing clearly that it is being done outdoors. I'm just not joking. Anyways, so those details are the details which will be coming. We see a witness recounting the harrowing details, saying the robbers were 6 in total, all armed with massive dangerous guns. The first robber jumped out of the Ford Ranger shouting for everyone to get down and preparing his weapon. Within seconds, the other 5 leaped out of the car. The trucks and the safeguard security, the guards were helpless, lying on the ground, Baba. And then the robbers held the trucks side by side, tossing them into their Ford Ranger. Now the robbers' car would speed straight down 9th Street westward as the car was parked facing in that direction, and the number plate of the vehicle was reviewed. It's okay, I'm not going to tell you. So it is one of the witnesses there who would be narrating the incident that happened there in Bulawayo. What is about to happen in Bulawayo, as we are seeing, remember, ZANU-PF is about to hold a meeting there in Bulawayo, and we are seeing things going like so there, in Bulawayo. 4 million. Now, over the past 10 years, in fact, many years, this is the highest amount ever been robbed by robbers. Of course, we have witnessed the several robberies in Zimbabwe. Where do we see some other robberies happening in Zimbabwe? A whole lot of places, a whole lot of areas, even outside Harare. Anyways, Bulawayo is outside Harare, but outside a big city. We see from the year 2009, we have Kingdom Bank robberies. Kingdom Bank was faced with 2 significant robberies within months. In the early 2009, in February, robbers would take $200,000. Just 3 months later, another heist is resulting in losses of more than $10,000 in Greenwich side. And we are getting an insight of how much money could be at a bank. Now, this one for the Bulawayo one is $4 million United States dollars, and we see 4 big trunks there being carried by big guys into the back of their truck there. Same year again, 2009, we say Barclays Bank Bulawayo robbery. That is the month of July. A gang of robbers will seize more than 100,000 from a branch of Barclays Bank in Bulawayo. And what does this do? It does raise suspicions about possible inside involvement due to frequency of attacks on this bank within short period. Wow. So it's July 2009, the bank 100,000. December 2009 again. And these robbings wouldn't be sparing us a single year. Skip into the year of 2010. It's the month of November and the date is 2. 6 armed robberies attack a cash in transit truck, gas delivering money to the CBZ bank in Bulawayo. They would hijack an armored vehicle and made off with over $2.1 million along with additional currencies. And this robbery would occur in broad daylight. Again, we see 6 armed people, like these guys here. 6 guys with weapons in their arms. Then again, now where we are right now, 2004 Bulawayo cash heist, movie style, money grabbing and robbing in the midst of a business day in the city center of Bulawayo, United States dollars. 4 million disappearing like that. 6 robbers. May God help us, because these trends that we are in, not heading to. Remember, this has been happening. This is just some of the few robberies that I've mentioned over the past 10 years. I've left out a whole lot of them robberies that occurred in Zimbabwe. We'll see another Baby River Bridge robbery where US 2.7 million was taken from a cash in transit vehicle on the Harare to Chirundu highway. What other details are here? Not much, but only video clips, as we were showing videos and pictures of the armed robbers who were wearing masks and bagged heads, were loading the boxes, as we could see on the video. Let me just go over there right one more time. The way they're picking the money, the way they're carrying the money, they just doing it casually, softly, easily, nicely, like they're at their homes, they're relaxing, like they're not in a hurry. They go carry the cash. Of course, they're going cashing, they're carrying the cash quick, like that. Jesus. So it's snatch and carry, but with the gun, of course, no carries. The length of that entire clip, however, shows the length of the entire audio there. Less than 2 minutes. Oh, that easy soft. Less than 2 minutes. Now, actually, them being soft, not being quick. They are actually on time. These guys are experienced people. They know what they be doing, isn't it? Okay, we don't hurry. Okay, we're not delaying things like that there, as we're witnessing on that clip showing on the screen here. Then this one is from another angle here. All right, so who would they interfere? Let's say a guard from the adjacent building there. And where would these guys be escaping to? Remember, in CBD Bulawayo, obviously the many companies and firms with street cameras there, and obviously the government too. Now, back to the details. One report says a man who claimed to be a manager at the bank told journalists a moment after the robbery that the money stolen was closer to $5 million. He also volunteered information that there was a client who was banking US 100,000 at the time of the bank robbery. Okay, that sounds suspicious. Why would it be necessary to mention to your press? Okay, when these guys robbed the 4 million, yes, 5 million. When the guys robbed the $5 million, at that time when they are robbing outside the truck, the security guard's truck, there is a guy who is banking US $100,000. And guys, it's 3 p.m. There, and EcoBank would be still not open. Then the stolen money was allegedly being taken to Harare from the EcoBank, which is housed on the ground floor of the National Railway of Zimbabwe, Bulawayo tallest structure. So that would make sense if the money was meant to be taken to Harare, right? Depending on how these guys consolidate their money and what they do with their money, the money that would have been banked. So I don't know why would they be taking money from Bulawayo to Harare on armored trucks over that distance there, over 400 kilometers there, over 4 hours traveling with a whole lot of money, 4 million. That would be risky and tricky and frisky. Anyways, the Zim police say they are investigating the case there. So only time will reveal the details if these guys will ever be caught. It's highly likely that they won't be caught. If they would be caught, they would have already been caught. Yeah. Now that's disturbing here. A bank at the time of closing, they're loading the money into the truck. I do not expect a bank to be operating in such a way, especially handling such amounts of money. The time they close, then they be shipping the money. It doesn't make no sense, man. Apart from that, they be robbing in CBD, in the central business district of Bulawayo. Where would they drive or veer off to with that money? This seems like an outside job. They're targeting EcoBank. Remember, the ruling party Zanu PF there shortly within 30 days is supposed to be holding the Zanu PF National People's Conference there in Bulawayo. So this would be threatening it in some way, in that we are having a city in a nation, a proper nation, not a banana republic, and this is the second largest city of Bulawayo. And then we have a robbery that is done that casually, softly, easily. The guys then be relaxed. 6 guys, and they escape to where? There are highways there, right? It's not like the concrete jungle is a jungle of trees. It's just the concrete jungle, but it's simple, predictable. The grids of the streets, we know how the streets are, which the street goes there and there and there. And very soon after these guys leaving, obviously calls would have been made, right? Then they would have been chased. Do we hear of any of that information there? No, we don't hear that. The only information we hear is Mike Chimombe and Moses Impofu court session gets live streamed there. Then we go to that court session again. What do we see? It's veered off to another date. Why? I'm deliberately using the veered off to another date. Deliberate. They wouldn't deliberate the exact they wouldn't deliberate the exact details, of that, but would see one of his lawyers there speak after the court session there, and he says something to do with the constitutional court. Remember, this trial isn't even finished already. They're talking about going to the constitutional court. If it's the case of the constitutional court, they should have already done that instead of talk that on TV. Now, in Zimbabwe, we've had cases of catch and release. This one of Mike Mpofu and Moses Chimombe, is it now becoming a case of never catch but briefly catch to appease the complaining masses of Zimbabwe following the GOAT scheme scam?
I think we've raised some constitutional issues that we wish to have the court determine prior to evidence being laid on the issue. Some of the issues relate to the tenure of office of the assessors that are sitting on it, and some of the issues relate to the fact that there had been an assessor who had been appointed, who today was substituted by another assessor, and they also relate to the rights of the accused persons as from what has been transpiring from the date that they were arrested up to date. So the court.
Right now, this court case to do with Mike Mpofu and Moses Mpofu, this guy is complaining about the assessors, right? Is it his reason to be taking the case to the High Court, to the Constitutional Court, to the highest court? He doesn't really reveal here, but he mentions the assessors, meaning it's a PowerPoint he has, or he is deliberately delivering a weak point there, because when he's asked another question later on by a journalist there, he says, let's not get into the merits of the case as it is a case before the law. But however, the assessors he's talking about there, they are above 70 years old of age. He said they're not supposed to be above 70 years of age. Now, how would they impact the case? Assessors are usually advocates or retired magistrates, and they sit with the judge during the court case, and they listen to all the evidence presented in court, and at the end of the court, they can give the judge their own opinion. So an assessor may be like, not necessarily a jury, but the guys will be there with the judge. Okay. So then there is also a civil assessor, legal assessor, or civil assessor, an assessor in law, a person called by the courts to give legal advice and assistance, and in many instances act as surrogate. The term is also used in the United States to designate an official who evaluates property for the purposes of taxation and related topics. So yesterday we saw President ED at the 10th, at the Sona 21st of Sona, they're addressing, and in his address he speaks on statutory instruments and bills to be passed. Now, as I was going through the bills and those things prior to that State of the Nation address, there are more than 200. There are a lot to go through. There is one which I come across, the one mentioning fidelity printers, Fidelity Gold. Those guys, they are exempted from tax. There's a amendment or a statutory instrument exempting these guys from tax, the Fidelity guys, from tax exemption. So for me, I would also assume maybe that is what also would contribute to the devaluing of the ZiG. It would, if it's a normal case, but already before that, or maybe before I saw the statutory instrument, which would have already been in existence, the ZiG had already fallen. Of course, there is no public confidence with that on its own. The value is compromised. Enough respect to everybody who's watching us live right now. Enough respect to Spencer Kawai. Enough respect there. Maxwell Marvi says, I'm watching from Cape Town in South Africa. How is it over there in South Africa? Pikanisi Avukeni says, my dog love this channel, watching from Bloemfontein, Free State. Thank you very much for that positive feedback there. Enough respect. Thomas the big guy. Thank you. Says good show, doc. Staying consistent as usual and delivering quality. It's you who makes us great, and as long as you keep supporting, the energy stays there. Enough respect to everybody who is watching us live. Now we're just gonna go through over some of the headlines that are heading the lines today. The 4th of October, the year 2024. What else do we have in the news? What's in the new? What's the buzz? So we're seeing a news day there. Cover story, cover page. Sona, and inspiring. That is a very catchy headline. There. What is in this article is very interesting. Then we're seeing they also have this story, the Bulawayo robbery, the Bulawayo 4 million robbery. So it seems this robbery, even though they are unknown, they have become just unfamous. Okay, no respect. So it is our human nature somehow. We somehow subconsciously celebrate a certain level of criminal activity, especially if it involves big money like 4 million bucks. So we see this one here in the cover page. Robbers make off with US $4 million in brazen bank heist. Anyways, let's jump over inside to find out the others which are inside. Robbers make off with 4 million in brazen bank heist. And then we see education sector collapse jolts ministry. What is happening here? Now this one would be very disturbing. Obviously, our education system in Zimbabwe, I don't know why they would call it collapse. Right? It is non-functional. Basically, it is there. We have just institutions with resources where students who are passionate can be doing something there. But in terms of our education system, in terms of how we do it, it is very, very bad, not effective. Of course, these guys, they've introduced what they call curriculums and all the other curriculums. The curriculums will actually be secondary issues. What needs to be addressed is the education system itself, how teachers, educators educate, how they impart information, because right now people are getting educated but they cannot comprehend what they be learning. Right? They get the education but they don't get the education that the education is educating them with. As in, they do go through with the tests and they get results which are considered a pass, but as in information and knowledge, do they learn? I think we can see by the performance, especially for government, this would be some of the highly educated people. Of course, I'm not talking about Dexter Nduna, who happened to graduate himself after not graduating. I'm talking about the guys in the government. Their failure again shows reflects on our education system. So if we compare our nation, Zimbabwe and Botswana, right? Botswana would be investing in education, investing in diamonds, and then the diamonds are nationalized. Right? Diamonds, they are not private. They're the biggest diamond producers in the world, right? And they are not the world's most miserable people. They are the grateful people. So that would also go through into other industries there, like the music industry there in Botswana, movie industry, as an entertainment industries there. They're high paying because there is money in the nation. Here in Zimbabwe, my God. Of course, we got guys who got money, but the guys who got money, maybe they think that everybody else is them. But we have people who go to bed on empty stomachs, day in, day out, struggling people. Some who just need an education, some who don't necessarily need an academic education, but they may be needing a government to send them the money to them so that they can be farming a little bit better if they're peasant farmers or rural farmers, right? So in the urban areas, we get community development funds, but what do the members of parliament do? They be busy building public toilets year after year. Now this time they got 50,000. It's not much, but it is much to change. At least 10 people who are given 5,000 each. You guys, you go do cooperative projects and you be paying back this money to this fund so that we can be funding more cooperatives. But no, what do we have? These members of parliament, they will be in cooperatives, in cohorts with their girlfriends. I do not have a problem with anybody who has girlfriends. It's good, but don't just spend people's money with girlfriends. Look for other money. Auxilia heaps praise on Mbira players. First Lady Auxilia Mnangagwa is heaped praise on Mbira players for preserving cultural heritage and upholding Hunu and Ubuntu. Alright, I'm going to skip that subject. Councillors management for corruption. ED Sona uninspiring. That's another headline there. The ZiG was devalued last Friday, triggering widespread price hikes of basic goods and services, with some service providers rejecting the local currency and to avoid loss. Mbizo MP Koban Maziranyika for Citizens for Coalition Change said Sona did not inspire poison. It did not inspire. Sorry about that. Mnangagwa, okay. This MP for Citizen Coalition said the Sona did not inspire confidence that Mnangagwa's solutions for the country's problems. I expect the president to deal with the issues that are facing Zimbabweans, he said. Zimbabweans are seized with hunger, unemployment, around 90% of unemployment, and all the other problems, load shedding, etc. So we see what this MP really is saying is very, very true. This guy is the problem, right? Unemployment, etc. So it should have addressed the problems, not address the state on the nation. Address this is what this guy is saying here, and the effects there. Now, what did ED talk about in his Sona? He didn't talk about much, but we're gonna cover that one and review certain details that he talks about in that state of the nation address, so we can get a revelation on how things are working. Why would we need to know the revelation of how things are working, so that we can safeguard ourselves, especially in terms of how money runs. Right about now, is according to my own assessment, Zimbabwe, we are in a limbo, not necessarily in a transition, but in a trance. This moment we are in right now, this is the 10th month. In the next 2 months before December ends, we will know where we will be heading. It's either we're going back to 2008 or we're going to 2008. So now we're seeing panic buying in the shops as people are trying to be consolidating their ZiG. So this panic could fuel us going back to 2008. I'm not saying the money is good. No, the guys failed, right? It could fuel, however, wishing shops closing, etc. That would not affect. That does not affect Zimbabwe, and today we will not see any more of it. According to my guesstimations, it ends. The panic on its own was really too panicking. Maybe because of what we have gone through before, or maybe there's another force pushing that image there. So right now Zimbabwe is not stable, yes, but we have a community that needs to sustain their family. They are not the majority of people, but even if we go back into the Ian Smith era, we had a few people who were active in the community, actively pushing our economy, right? even when we still had we still had do had the white farmers there farming produce. Zimbabwe could export, right? I'm not saying these guys can farm better than black guys, but they have done that better than us. We Zimbabweans, yes, we are seeing now the emergence of people with a passion to farm, but the land reform, Chenjirai Hunji and the other guys would take Magito youths to the farms, and they'll be looting irrigation equipment, turning it into scrap metal, and all those things, those farmhouses. Now I got a mansion. Now they make them their rural areas. Those things, it was all misdirected, humiliating, and that they should be ashamed of themselves. And, even though they went to the liberation war. Okay, so with that said, rest in peace to Josiah Magamatongoga, one of the great guys there who fought in the liberation struggle, having liberated zones in Zimbabwe. Then we saw his base in Mozambique being attacked there at Chimoyo. He was a very great person, a legend there, a guy who really fought the liberation struggle in Zimbabwe. Not undermining those who really did fight, but most loudmouths, they're just loudmouths. Some of them joined the liberation struggle in 1975. City of Harare proposed alienation of municipal land in Harare. City of Harare, we see the mayor Jacob Mafume there doing his thing there. But basically, we need to take the things in our own hands. How can we play our part in Zim? Playing our part, it begins with investing in yourself. National prosperity does not necessarily translate into personal prosperity. Let us build strong bases as individuals, those who are into entrepreneurship. If you want to help your nation get into business, be successful, and give people jobs, like Strive Masiwa, who has given Zimbabweans more than 2 million jobs. From the 2 million jobs promised, what we would see the looting of $2 million US from tenders, and even more than $2 million. That is what happened in reality, right? What else do we have? Desist from turning to unregistered lenders. That ZAMFI Microfinance Institution, Association of Microfinance Institutions. All right, so all the microfinance institutions, or whatever they are registered, but they are not right. They may be so-called legit, but those institutions, they're somehow an unfair trade practice which should not be legalized. But at least we should be having funds where individuals can get profits, interest from their monies, which they can lend to the government. Remember, during the command agriculture era, we had my treasury bills where we see the RBZ of Zimbabwe selling them, and one of the people who would be buying them, it would mean they're lending. But those opportunities of those securities and securities that can yield a little bit of profit after a certain period, they should avail those opportunities, especially to civil servants, to be able to invest their monies. And with the passage of time, it accumulates compound effect, right? When a person gets experience yet 20 years at Babasa, time yoyo anenge ani mali zake my securities, my investments kumpa yield yakati, such that mari dzema pensions dzawagarawo by this, it will not affect. We would have built a better people as we improve, going from a middle class, right, upper class, middle class economy. Okay, it is what it is. No offense to the guy there. but we'll see what will be happening with the passage of time, how this performs. But I think that these guys are. They should not disguise. We need a local currency, but the only way we should be having a local currency first, number one, food security. We begin with food security, right? That is governance 101. Food security. That is why we bring in the so-called foreign investors, even though they don't bring us any foreign. They'll be repatriating their money, right? But we need them for guarantee. We know these guys deliver. We need somebody to be farming for us. We bring in these guys. Now we are putting them in the Starlink deal. That deal for Zimbabwe is reselling. Come on, guys. With that, I'm gonna sign out because I'll basically I don't mean to make anybody feel inferior, especially the guys in the government. Okay, we learn by admitting our mistakes, not necessarily the public. You have to be politically correct. Just work on it and do something positive. With that, I sign out.